Hey everyone, it's me again and welcome to Faith's Faces. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name's Faith Grenade and I put makeup videos here on YouTube. And you should subscribe and hit that little bell icon down below. It'll notify you every time I upload so you don't miss a minute of this riveting action. Y'all, 2019, like, it's 2019. What? Like, you want to talk about action? I feel like last year just sort of fucking flew by. What you've stumbled upon is Faith's Faces, which is usually a get ready with me or a makeup tutorial. Today, we have a get ready with me. I wasn't really looking to do a tutorial today. I was just getting ready to go out and do some things that my plans ended up falling through in the middle of filming this, but that's okay. I still have other things I have to do, so it was still worth putting makeup on today. And y'all, 2019 came in to my life in a big way, and not necessarily in a good way. As I'm gonna be pretty vague throughout this video because a lot of things are still up in the air, but basically the last 3 or 4 days have just been awful in various ways. Lots of upheaval, lots of just little issues, big issues, lots of like feeling like the rug is being pulled out from under me. You know that feeling? A lot of that and a lot of hardship and a lot of setbacks and just one right after the other. And I just could not deal with it anymore. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down in my lab. I'm gonna paint my feelings. Beginning of the year can be a really difficult time. Obviously it's getting dark early now and, the temperatures are getting colder. So it's like seasonal affective issues start to rear their ugly head and things get a little difficult mentally to deal with. So I figured I'd just let you guys in on a little makeup playtime session with me, just to show you the kinds of things that I do when I'm feeling down or depressed. Makeup was my therapy. When I first, got into doing makeup, it was my therapy to deal with my husband, Mr. Grenade, being deployed. That's how it all started, really, was I needed a creative outlet and I wasn't getting any burlesque gigs at the time, so I got into makeup and that started this whole beautiful journey that I've been on so far. I'm not really sure what is next for me in that journey in terms of like what's going to be happening in the immediate future. There's a lot of things that I'm toying around with, a lot of things that are up in the air, but the long and the short of it is I really gravitate to makeup as a therapy, really any creative outlet, but makeup especially because it's so easy. I can just sit down and do something on my face and feel better for it. It makes me feel prettier, it makes me feel nice, it makes me feel kind to myself to touch my face repeatedly. If you want to know how to get this gorgeous, beautiful, purpley, grungy look, which I can't entirely take credit for, and you'll find out about that as we go on through the video. But if you want to know how to get this beautiful, purpley, grunge, glittery, hot mess and just do a little makeup therapy with me, just keep on watching, baby. Hey guys, okay, so this is definitely gonna be more of a get ready with me than a tutorial because the eye looks really simple, but yeah. It's been one of those weeks, and by one of those weeks, I mean it's been one of the hardest weeks that I've had in a very long time. Lots of things being sprung on me that I was just not ready for. Nasty surprises, but I'm alive, everything's fine. It's one of those, like, that animated like cartoon of the dog sitting at a coffee table and his entire house is on fire and he's just sitting there with a cup of coffee like, this is fine. That's pretty much me right now. Not to mention, I have the most painful papulopustular rosacea zit of all time. Like, if I even breathe next to this thing, it hurts. So I need to cover that up. But I'm going to be playing around a little bit with the Shine Bright Pro eyeshadow palette from Lorac. I'm literally just using one shade from this, but I wanted to mess around with some new things, play around, have fun, and talk with you guys, because it's been a minute. I pre-filmed for the last 2 weeks, so it's actually been close to like 3 weeks since I filmed anything. So I'm a little bit rusty, I'm a little bit out of practice, but I knew I was going to be busy for Christmas and New Year's, so I just pre-filmed for all of it. So the one and only shade that I'm using in this palette today is light brown. I tried to use other shades, but it really didn't work with what I was going for. So I'm going to take this on a Wet n Wild crease brush, and I'm going to blend it from the lid onto the crease. I've been doing this a ton lately, is just taking one shadow and blowing it all over the place. So life, yes. Basically all of the things that have happened recently, I can't really get into right now. Not in detail anyway, but really long story short, basically New Year's Eve day was just a day of unpleasant surprises and a day of massive upheaval, and it was just like one of those things where I realized that I'm going to have to make some pretty dramatic changes to my life in a time when I thought, you know, I was done having to make dramatic changes to my life. So yeah, I'm going to be looking into possibly going back to school and possibly starting my own business, like in my own space and stuff like that. And just a lot of things were compounding on one another. It was like every day I woke up and something else was hitting the fan. But pretty much I don't know, like when you're an esthetician and you want to take your career to the next level, usually you end up getting a degree in nursing, because when you get your RN, you can do a lot more, in my state anyway. Because in my home state, and in this, you know, the state that I'm licensed in, obviously, you can't do a ton as an esthetician. You can do facials, but things like microdermabrasion, things like chemical peels, things like laser treatments, things that are okay for estheticians to do in other states, they're not okay here. And frankly, I'm kind of glad they're not okay, because there's so many estheticians in other states who like fuck up people's faces on the regular because they're using those really powerful modalities. You know, if you want to do any of those advanced modalities, you have to get a nursing degree and get your nurse's license, because they're considered medical procedures in Maryland and you have to be a nurse to do them. So, you know, I had this whole massive upheaval situation, and at this point I'm kind of at a crossroads where it's like I could either go back and get my nursing certification and do medical aesthetics, like more on the laser, microderm, aggressive side, or I can keep doing what I'm doing and try to start my own place in my own space and basically build a spa business from the ground up, which I've never done before. So either way, I'm looking at doing something that is massively new to me. I think it's been 10 years since I took a science class. Like, so nursing would be absolutely insane. And I would have to do things that I'm not necessarily interested in, because nursing itself, I admire nurses so much. I can tell you that my life has probably been saved by a few nurses in the past, but I could not imagine doing what they do. I could not imagine, like, working. I know some nurses. A friend of mine is an ER nurse, and she works like 15 hours a day, 6 days a week, and it's just like, dude, I'm too old for that shit. I probably would never work in a hospital or anything like that, just because that sounds like a very high stress environment. And it's not that I don't handle stress well, it's that my skin doesn't handle stress well, and I'm not the kind of person who thrives in that environment per se. I survive, but what would you rather do, survive or thrive? Exactly. You know, every tarot reading I've done for myself in the last few days, every oracle card I've pulled, everything has all said, take your time. You know, like, take your time with the next steps. Don't rush into anything. And I'm like, yeah, but it's just not in my nature, you know? Like, when something falls apart or when something falls through, I'm constantly thinking about what's next. Like, that's how I sort of manage myself. I'm constantly like, okay, what's next? What's next? What do I have going on next? Because when you're a performer, everybody's constantly asking you what else you have going on, what other things you have coming down the pipeline. And, you know, I don't like not having an answer to that question. So I'm constantly thinking about, like, what am I going to do next? What's next for me? What's the next step? And it's kind of hard for me to, like, stop doing that and just sort of take a break and step away and reevaluate and replan and all that. And I feel like that's something that I'm being called to do, is just stop and refocus and rethink my strategies on things. But it's hard for me to do that because it's hard for me to sort of let go of this work ethic that I have that's just like I need to constantly be working or else I'm a failure at life. I'm going to be pulling in the glitter from Lemonhead Los Angeles in this shade Houdini. It's absolutely beautiful. I don't even know if that camera's doing it justice. It's a clear sort of glitter gel with this bright lavender reflect. And I can't take credit for this look because I went to IMATS last year and I went to the Lemonhead Los Angeles booth, and the people who were working there, the guy that was working there was so fucking fierce. And I was like, oh my god, this look, like, what are you doing with this? Because it is striking and beautiful. And he was wearing just a basic light brown shadow and this glitter on top of it. And it just looks so striking. And I was like, oh my god, sign me up for whatever that is. But they didn't have Houdini in stock at the time. Everyone had bought it probably because he looked fucking fantastic. So these are glitter gels. These are the original glitter gel. There are a lot of imitators now. Tarte has made one. Kat Von D has made her own version. But to my knowledge, Lemonhead is the originator of this formula. And they are still the best. They are still the most pigmented, they are still the most fabulous, they are still the most unique colorways, and I'm just loading up on this other eye a little bit more because I noticed it was a little lacking. And these are fabulous, no fallout to be seen at all. I will warn you that some of these are not meant to be used on the eyes. There's the Space Pastes and the Space Jams. The Space Pastes are okay to use around the eyes because they're not super chunky glitter, but then they have the Space Jams, which I have one of them back here. This is one of the Space Jams, and you can see it's way, way chunkier, way thicker. I bought this at IMATS. Way thicker, way chunkier, and this is meant for use on the body and on the hair, so this is not meant for use on the face. These Space Pastes are fine to use on the eyelid. Obviously, I usually try not to use them on the lower lash line or anywhere near like the mucous membrane, but just so pretty. It's this beautiful lavender shift. And I don't know what about this looks so fucking good with a light brown shadow on the lid. It's just beautiful. I don't know why that works. I mean, if I studied a little bit more of my color theory, I could probably tell you why this works, but it's just one of those moments, like, you know, don't worry about how it works. It just does. Speaking of IMATS, I am going back to IMATS New York this year, so if you watch my channel and you see me there, say hi. I would be all too happy to say hello to you. Not that really anyone watches my channel, which is a whole nother thing. I mean, I've been making videos on YouTube for a long time. I've been doing YouTube now for 6 years, and that's a long time, and I really don't have a huge viewership. I mean, I love the people who do watch my videos. Even if you've only watched my labiaplasty videos, I still appreciate you. You are still valued here in the land of the faithful. But it was just one of those things that I found myself, you know, it's a new year, so it's like a time of reevaluating and a time of like, what am I doing, you know? And I found myself really questioning whether or not I was going to continue to make regular content on YouTube, just because there was so little engagement in my videos and I just could not figure out what I was doing wrong. I think a lot of it is my production value. Nowadays, the standards for production value of YouTube videos are so high. Everybody wants you to have like commercial quality video production, and some of us do not have the money to invest thousands of dollars in video production equipment, okay? It started to get to the point where it stopped being fun for me, and it started being something that I had to do, not something that I wanted to do. And when you're as busy as I am doing things that don't make you any money, it starts to get really frustrating because you start to be like, all right, you know, I'm putting my all into these things that I'm doing, these projects that I'm doing, and nothing is turning over, you know, nothing is working out. You know, I'm investing a lot of time and money into these projects, and to have them just like not return on the investment time and time again is really frustrating. I'm gonna put on this Tartist Lash Paint mascara. I've never tried this before. It's got an odd like vestibule. It's really open, which makes me think that this might be broken. I don't know, but I used it on my other eye, and I mean, the wand is very spiky. Like, I keep being afraid that I'm gonna stab myself in the fucking eyeball. But I have all these lashes, and I want to pick out one of them. It does give you a little duo glue up here, which I didn't realize, which is kind of neat. I'm not a fan of duo. I would rather not make my eyeball smell like a fish butthole. Which, I mean, duo just stinks. It just smells bad, and it takes forever to dry. And I'm not the kind of person who needs a lash glue that takes forever to dry. I don't want to sit there for an hour waiting for the thing to get tacky. I'm the kind of person who just wants to be able to just tack the thing on my lid and call it a day. These guys down here, these really piecey ones, let's see if I can even get them out. That's something I'm gonna have to get used to. I'm not used to wearing piecey lashes, and it just sort of looks like I'm wearing shitty mascara, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's very undone looking, which works for this look. Like it kind of, I feel like it kind of matches the grunginess of the overall feel of the look. It's not obstructing the glitter too much, which I do like. But I think I'm gonna do my face makeup off camera real quick. I'm just gonna be throwing some concealer on this massive fucking painful zit action I've got going on right now, and cleaning up my under eyes and just sort of figuring out what my next steps are. So I'm gonna do that off camera, and I will be back to do some lips for you guys. Okay guys, I am back, and the complexion is done just in time for the plans I had today to fall through. Great. That's just been like my 2019 in a nutshell so far. Like, basically from New Year's Eve on has just been one thing after another. But it's kind of okay. I'm kind of feeling a little bit low today, so I'm feeling really tired. I wasn't sleeping well last night, and it was one of those things that's like, I know I should do things today, but it's like, I'm really tired, and just not feeling it. Just not feeling this week in general, but show must go on. We shall move on. I did use a new bronzer. I've been messing around with this Bronzed Bondi shade from Becca. It's significantly more pigmented than my go-to bronzer is, so it took some getting used to. Like, the first time I used it, I like put way too much on at first, and it was just like, whoa, dude, okay, well, you mean business. Sorry to bother you there. Then I popped in with the Shine Bright cheek palette. Had to. I used the shade Aura, which is right here. Very nice light baby pink. I do like that quite a bit. Just used some concealer and powder for complexion. I didn't use foundation or anything like that. Just covered up the redness through here. This little dude is not gonna be covered up. No matter what I do, he's just gonna show his whole ass. So I'm not super worried about it. Oh, and before I forget, I did dig into the Electro Pop palette from Kevin Aucoin. I love this. Like, in terms of colorful eyeshadow palettes, it is one of my favorites of all time. I used a Real Techniques accent brush and the shade, what shade is this? Switch, which is this little duochrome pinky purpley one here. And I pop that into the inner corners, and I don't know what it is about that, but that just completely brought the look together for me. I'm gonna try Emma Luminizer from the Balms Luminizer Sisters Quad, the purple one. I don't normally use highlights like this, but what the hell, right? I'm just gonna use my blush brush, dip into this, and pop it on the cheeks. Woo! That's really purple. I like it though. It's very brightening. Sort of makes you look awake and alive and not sallow. I don't want to do anything too dark because, like I said, I don't want to take away from the eyes. I don't want to do anything too warm because I don't want to take away from what's going on throughout the rest of the face. I want to keep things consistent. And I've been trying to challenge myself. You know, I feel like I do a lot of monochromatic looks. I like when my eyes match my lips. So I've been challenging myself to kind of go outside my comfort zone in terms of that and start doing, you know, more nude lips and more lips that are just like different, different colors than the rest of my skin. So I'm gonna mess around with some stuff and then I'll be back to show you guys the final look. I say that I'm gonna do something not monochromatic and not dark. And then what do? Dark and monochromatic. I'm a creature of habit. Anyway, this is from the Bite Beauty Astrology by Bite Amuse Bouche lipstick set, actually. And this is the shade Capricorn because we're still in Capricorn season, I want to say. I think we're still in Cap season. Are we? We may have moved on. I don't know. But we just got through Cap season, or we're currently in Cap season. I'm Capricorn rising. I love my Capricorns. They are so driven, so motivating, and the color of this lipstick just, oh, it took me. The minute I saw it, I love these sort of blackened plum, like dark, cool toned purples. This lipstick is beautiful. I can already tell you that I'm going to blow through that mini size in no time at all. I need to go online and get the full size of this if it's still available because, like, I mean, I bought the Libra one because I'm sun sign Libra, but maybe I should be getting the Cap one too because this is absolutely beautiful. I appreciate you guys giving me a space to work out my garbage in art form. And as for the products I used today, I loved pretty much everything. It's just my skin is in a really special kind of awful right now. I blame stress, but it is what it is, dudes. It is what it is. But in the meantime, without further ado, thing I always forget to do, let's do some awkward posing. Awkward posing. Looking down, looking forward, looking fierce. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, informative, or entertaining. If you did, there's a button for that. Spank that like button in the butt, you know it deserves it. And if you want to see more from me, you've got a couple options now. You can click the videos on either side of my head to binge if you're bored or bummed out, or hey, you can click that button that looks like my face and subscribe and become a member of the faithful today. I put out new videos every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining me today, and I will see you in the next video. Toodles!